Thank you everybody for joining. We're talking about the China opportunity, particularly around Baidu. Before we begin, we wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your audience consoles are multiple application widgets you can use. For example, if you have questions during the webcast, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your questions. We'll try to answer these during the webcast if relevant or at the end, as we've allocated time for questions at the end. A copy of today's slide deck and additional materials will be available in the resource list widget at the green folder at the bottom of your screen. Also, we'll be making this presentation both as a recorded version as well as a resource at the Merkle site. You can expand your slide area by clicking on the maximize icon at the top right of the slide area or by dragging the bottom right corner of the slide area. If you have any technical difficulty, click on the help widget. It has a question mark icon and covers common technical issues. An on-demand version of this webcast will be available approximately a day after the webcast and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. And also, for those of you who have joined, we strongly suggest you get to the end of the presentation, as there is a pretty incredible offer that will come up. So now into the presentation, the China opportunity, connecting with Chinese customers on Baidu, which is China's largest digital platform. My co-presenters are Lily Wang from Baidu, Frederick Conson, one of our valued clients from Tektronix Danaher, and Tommaso Lombardi, who's one of my colleagues from Merkle in China. What we'd like to start with is the right partners make all the difference. Obviously, we're from Merkle, a very large performance marketing agency, but we're doing this in partnership with Kenshu. And we'll talk a little about that as we go through. Merkle is the first US-headquartered Baidu reseller, which is giving us an incredible opportunity into this Chinese market. And why are we so excited about the China opportunity? The first thing is China has the largest online population globally. On a home user basis, the US has approximately 280 million users, whereas China has just under 670 million users. In addition, China has the largest mobile market globally. There are about 1.25 billion users according to Statista. So almost everybody in China has a mobile phone. Obviously, some people have a few, but there is excellent mobile coverage and there is quite strong mobile bandwidth. China also has the second largest economy in the world according to the World Bank. And by other measures such as the IMF, it has very, very large and competitive purchasing power. The Chinese consumer is also digitally savvy and their middle class is growing extremely quickly. And Baidu is the largest digital platform in China and interestingly, the fourth most trafficked site in the world following Google, Facebook, and YouTube. So you have an incredibly large Chinese audience growing in affluence with decent to good connectivity, and you have a vehicle to get to them comprehensively. Just how big is this opportunity? Well, the largest e-commerce day isn't Cyber Monday, which we've just had. It's actually, or it happened on the 11th of November, and has been the largest e-commerce day for at least 4 years. And that day is China's Singles Day. China's Singles Day, which celebrates being single, actually generated $14.3 billion of revenue this year. Whereas Cyber Monday, as we saw from the Adobe study, has generated just over $3 billion of revenue this year. If we take the full 5 days of the Thanksgiving sales, the US or the global US Thanksgiving sales only represented about $11 billion versus this one day in China of $14.3 billion. As we mentioned, Baidu is the largest digital platform in China and the fourth most trafficked site in the world. So it is a giant amongst giants. It's also, and we think this is particularly interesting, it has incredible reach in China. To give you a sense of just how far Baidu reaches into the population, CCTV is the government TV network with multiple channels, and Baidu has almost twice the reach of the government TV network. And Baidu is also a very comprehensive digital platform. It has many, many parts beyond being a search engine. It has about 87% or even a little more of the search engine market in China, which makes it incredibly important for intent. But it also has an incredible social network. It has a mapping and directions function that is incredibly widely used by the Chinese population. It's also a video and image sharing platform. It has multiple forums, including a Q&A community. It has an encyclopedia function, a wiki-based encyclopedia function. It has a huge music sharing network, and it also has an app sharing function. Lily.
Hi everyone, my name is Lily Wan. I'm currently Senior Product Manager in Baidu USA. Glad to start this chance to partner with Merkle to talk about Baidu's Chinese offerings, as well as some commercial products. So I'm going to do the commercial product introduction to you. In our commercial product offerings, we have two big categories. One is called P4P. If you are very familiar with US search engine marketing, that's very similar to SEM here. And our ad platform is called Fengchao, so that's very similar to the Bing and Google's ad platform. And also, we do have a display content work, which is Baidu Union. And Baidu Union currently covers around 600,000 third-party sites in China and is one of the biggest content networks in China. The other category we have is called PS category, and that it offers a lot of branding product offerings called Brand Zone that covers both desktop and mobile. And we offer other Brand Zone products such as banners, mini zones as well. And Tommaso will introduce you to that later. And for our Baidu product offerings, we have both mobile as well. So the mobile traffic actually covers more than half of our PVs and search queries. So you got a lot of traffic from PC as a traditional, but also because of the growth of mobile phones in China, and everyone actually in China is going wireless. So let's take a minute to take a look on the Baidu search result page. If you are very familiar with the performance marketing in the US, that's quite similar. So you have the search result on the left side, and we do have some ads on the right side as well. And if you can see here, the top 3 positions are the ad slots. And also on the bottom, we have 3 positions as well. And on the right side, we have about maximum 8 advertising slots for display, for search ad text. Let's take a look into some of the search ad format. As you can see here, this is a screenshots of a very kind of interesting queries. It's crab. That's for the Chinese mid-autumn festival, and that's very popular food in China. If you see the highlight part, it looks like site links. Yet, this actually are suggested related keywords for new queries. So this actually are paid by CPC, and that format is only displayed for top positions. the next one actually is the kind of innovative ad format we have for search. It's called video ads. So you can see here there's a this orange highlighted square, and there's a play button in the middle of it. And this site advertiser actually is a travel advertiser. If you click on this play button, it will lead you to the landing page with a small video overlay. So the user can play the video and then land it on the landing page to see the product offerings. The next one we have called picture search ads. What it does is to intelligently select the picture of advertisers or images the advertiser submitted and combine them dynamically with the search text and create the most relevant ad to the user, as well as to calculate the ROI for the advertisers to make sure we have a win-win situation for both users and advertisers. So the other big category for our phone call offerings, actually, as George mentioned, is e-commerce. So here we have a huge product category called Shantou. Shantou majorly works for a lot of e-commerce sites and a lot of branding, like merchandise as well. Here you can see an example for Chanel Cosmetics. And you can see here we have the product offerings as well as images of the product. And here is another format of Shantou. We have the price, the brand, as well as the product image for Chanel Cosmetics. And here, what we call this is the product display window. So the third format of Shantou is more like a site link product list. So here shows some products with different categories and also offers the discount. The highlighted part shows the price, the discount range. So there's like 80%. Just 20% off, 30% off, as well as offers the user a link to explore more options. So on this part is the PLA, very similar to Google Shopping. That is the top position PLA ads. With image on the top on the top 3 ad positions here, that is for L'Oreal. So you can see when you search for the brand, the user will be able to see the top selling products L'Oreal has and where to buy them. As I mentioned, the mobile traffic is a big part of Baidu's traffic as well, now more than 50%. So the mobile ad format is essential to our business. As you can see here, we show our search result on mobile. The top 3 positions is SEM, CPC ads, and then you will see the SEO, like organic results, on the first page as well. And on the bottom of it, we have 3 positions, most 3 positions for the ads too. So on the first screen, the maximum people can see is about 6. As the mobile user behavior is significantly different from the PCs, we designed a lot of different mobile ad formats as well. As you can see here, we have different ad formats. On the green one actually is an ad format for the picture. So you can see the picture and image format here. And the red one is designed for mobile specifically. That's the app download. So the system can detect the mobile platform you are using, what kind of phone you are using, and push the right app download onto your phone. Here shows the other two different formats. The yellow one actually is a click to call. Oh, hello?
We can hear you, Lily.
Oh, okay. The yellow one actually is a click to call ad format. So there's a little bit telephone icon. People can click on that icon and start to call their advertiser. And as you can see, there, in the US market, the phone lead is very important for many businesses. It's the same thing for the Chinese market too. And the kind of deep pink one, there's mini side links. It's called Xijing for mobile. So people, the users can click on those little side links here to click to go to the specific section of advertisers' landing sites. Next, we're going to briefly talking about our content network. This is very standard format, very similar to display network here. We have a lot of great partners, the top content provider in China, and our advertisers can play banner ads and search text ads on their sites as well. Currently, Baidu has one of the biggest content network in China to cover more than 600,000 sites, and the maximum PV reach is around 550 billion, and the maximum scale reach we have is around 5 billion as well. And let's move on to Tommaso to talk about the brand Zoom offerings we have on the search result page. Tommaso?
All right, thank you, Lily. Now, we've seen that Baidu has a formidable arsenal of PPC options for your performance marketing. Now, is that enough? Well, of course, it depends on your business needs. Let's suppose you already have huge brand equity in China, and then you want to catch two birds with one stone, maintain top-of-mind brand awareness, and have a search funnel to generate valuable traffic to your properties. Some of the paid search marketers in the audience, I bet, that will say, oh, well, that's easy. I can handle that with branded PPC campaigns with exact match, right? And by the way, brand search in China usually generates much, much better results and conversion rates than anywhere else in the world. But in China, you also have the Baidu brand zone, which is seen right here in the slide. And that's Baidu's very own and exclusive brand search product. No other search engine offers anything like this. It's a product that allows your brand to dominate the SERPs with rich media listings. It's always above the fold. It's always fully customizable with a big range of elements ranging from videos, multiple links, tab navigation bars, and let me say that it's pretty cool, actually. In this case, for instance, we see a rollover banner on the right-hand side of the screen, and it's triggered by a generic product search for lipstick, right? And as you see, it is associated with a well-known brand. It's a great combination of display and search advertising. That's what the brand zone is. Think of the possibilities. If you think creatively, you could use the brand zone to show a QR code and engage customers with a mobile app download or with mobile messaging. It's huge, and it's also available on mobile devices. Now, moving forward, we can see another example of the brand zone here, and it's a video in combination with a tab navigation unit. That's a great way to pack visibility, branding, and useful information for consumers all together. And it's a golden opportunity to reinforce your brand promise, maybe with a good video, and reinforce at the same time all the great direct traffic that you can drive to your properties, maybe triggering direct response purchases, or maybe some impulse buying, who knows. That's a great opportunity. And then in this final example, we go a little bit more local, And we see how the Baidu brand zone is used by some healthcare providers in China as a SERP-based interface to book medical appointments and to arrange live chats with hospital receptionists. That, if you ask me, it's Chinese innovation. And now moving forward, talking about innovation in China, and innovation at Baidu as well, this company is indeed at the forefront of innovation. And we can take the Baidu DSP, for instance. That's the demand-side platform that Baidu has been working on for a while. It uses Baidu's big data and analyzes consumers' true intentions to deliver a cross-device programmatic solution for advertisers. It offers over 7 billion impression opportunities and millions of videos and a huge premium inventory. And on top, it's all combined with real-time bidding technology. And also, here, as you can see in this other slide, Baidu has recently entered the online financial services sector with Baixin Bank, and it's the result of a recent partnership with one of the biggest financial institutions in China, CITIC Bank. And again, think of the possibilities when you have this amount of data at your hand. And finally, I want to tell you about Baidu's data services and its data management platform. This is really interesting, especially if you know what Merkle does. In a nutshell, it allows you to achieve addressability at scale and people-based marketing with Chinese characteristics. Allow me to say that. I really wanted to. Now, if you don't know what addressability at scale is, please go to our website and find out more, because that's something that Merkle does very well. And the Baidu DMP allows advertisers to use first-party data to create custom audiences. And together with Baidu's search and display products, it opens up very interesting and sophisticated programmatic marketing opportunities for your China strategy. So, we do know that operating in China, in the Chinese market, comes with some very specific challenges, not with some very interesting and innovative products for your search marketing. And this is why George will now tell you more about these challenges. Thank you. George, back to you.
So Tommaso is my partner in China. I've actually worked for clients in China since the early 90s, and in the mid-2000s lived there for 3 years. So I'm probably well qualified to talk about the sort of issues you can have. But as a digital marketer, very specifically, here are the challenges to entering China. If you're operating outside of China, those challenges include setting up accounts on the major platforms, as Chinese licenses are required. There are currency management issues, payment issues, and exchange rate issues. There are then translation issues, and there are many formats and protocol issues. And that's just without saying you'd need to find an agency remotely from here that you could work with and have them do that work for you. If you're operating within China, there are also a range of challenges. The first is vendor management. Many of our clients have expressed a frustration with how the Chinese agencies, even the multinational agencies operating within China, have taken their accounts on. Often there's a situation of starting a program and then setting and forgetting the program and letting the program run itself and not optimizing. A second challenge is integrating the APIs of China's platform and in undertaking even basic bid management. You then have the issue of finding and keeping staff to develop, manage, optimize, and grow your programs. Many clients have reported a perceived cost of entry program and an issue with the cost of developing their programs, that they seem to be constantly being asked for additional funding to improve how their programs work, which leads to the transparency issues that many clients have with operating in China. That is, they don't feel that the marketplace, they don't feel that the vendors are fully transparent, And for example, that the Chinese digital media is quite different to digital media in the US. In China, the digital media pay the agencies a commission, and so that is something that isn't always transparent. And then there are all of the complexities of legal considerations, understanding what documents you need to register, and how you move forward. We think we have a solution around these problems, and we'll address that at about the 45-minute mark before we go to questions. And now back to you, Tommaso.
Yes, thank you, George. So now we have explored some of the most common challenges that companies face in China. And I'm sure everyone in the audience here understands how critical it is to protect your brand, and particularly in a market as complex as China. Now at Merkle, we take care of your brand, and we do it using Baidu's own services like brand protection. This is really interesting, which prevents unauthorized SEM accounts, aka competitors, from using your exact brand keywords in their ad copy. And yes, it goes hand in hand with the brand zone that we have just seen. So let's take this example, for instance. When users search the exact brand keywords, only the official brand owner's ad will always appear in the top position if you have the brand protection activated. And it's a clever way to prevent replica sites from mimicking your brand and capturing clicks, and perhaps stealing some golden opportunities that you could otherwise leverage, right? And as you can see here in this slide, essentially you will always be on the top of the SERPs with the brand protection activated. Now let's say that you are a famous brand, like in this example here. And with brand protection and the brand zone, when people search Chanel in this case, and the official site is always displayed above the fold. And this guarantees that people don't get fooled, right? Because that's always a very big risk, not just in China, but in general. And Baidu has this opportunity for you, and I think it's really clever. And then what happens without the brand protection? Well, take a look at this. This is Topshop. And someone comes and searches for Topshop, so it's a branded search. And then you see how many third parties and even competitors are effectively stealing attention and traffic. And this is pretty bad, to be honest, even though I like Topshop, but they could do better. And yes, this is something that we do at Merkle together with Baidu, but not just that. Here at Merkle, we constantly monitor the quality of your search and display campaigns on Baidu. We proactively maintain blacklists and whitelists. We monitor the quality of the publishers, if you're using the display network, the content network, for instance. And we leverage Baidu's own systems against cheaters to maintain good levels and good quality of the traffic that we're delivering to your properties. And moreover, we're always happy to provide you with almost real-time reports in order to help you understand how your brand is really doing. Because we want your brand to succeed. And now George will talk more about one of the brands that we've been working on here in China.
Well, actually, Frederick's going to introduce for us this part.
Great. Hello, everyone. I'm Frederick Consson. I head up digital at Tektronix. Tektronix is a billion-dollar company, part of the Danaher networks of companies. And we sell equipment to engineers that develop electronics. So the next generation smartphone, TV, tablet, etc. And so as you can imagine, China is a very important market for us. We worked with Merkle for about a year now, and 3 months ago we expanded the relationship to be global in nature. So we added, in addition to Americas, Greater China, India, and EMEA. And the primary reason we moved to Merkle in China, comes down to a couple of key factors. One, they had a proven approach in America that we wanted to replicate globally, including China. But more importantly, with China, there is a lot of difficulties for an American-based company to engage with a local agency. As George pointed out earlier, there was some lack with regards to trust, transparency, and also insights and ROI. And those are the key factors that we are getting with the relationship with Merkle. Let me talk a little bit about our approach here for the first 3 months. The first thing that Merkle's team did as we transitioned from the old agency was to fill some gaps with regards to brand and trademark protection, just getting that handled in the first couple of weeks. The second thing was to rebuild our account structure and align it with our global efforts. This is very important to our particular company because we measure everything to a very detailed degree. So having our digital activities structured the same way by product line, segment, et cetera, gives us opportunity to pull reporting on a standard basis across the globe. The next thing is also quite important for us, and I'm sure many of you face the same situation at times. CEOs and CFOs like marketing, and in particular digital marketing, because it's quite a good lever to manage OpEx. So when there's a need for demand, we tend to get requests for spending more money within the quarter. And when there is pressure on OpEx, we tend to get requests to reduce spend within a quarter. So what Merkle did was set up a solution that gives us the opportunity to quickly adjust our spend and thus respond to those kind of executive requirements. Next, the Merkle team worked with our local sales and marketing group to optimize both keywords and the copy, ensure that it was up to date. And then finally, within a couple of weeks, we're able to kick off 12 PPC campaigns and 6 display campaigns. This transition period was quite short, allowed us not to drop significantly in performance, which we're very appreciative of course. I'm going to hand it off to Tommaso, who will share some of our initial results now.
Yes, thank you, Frederick. Now let's take a look at a few numbers from our Tektronix campaigns here in China. So these are some early results, and I'll quickly go through some of the main metrics here. We're very proud of these early results in paid search, and it's always good to see the positive outcome of hard work. First of all, the total number of clicks, which could be a good proxy for visits and traffic, sent to Tektronix properties increased quite sharply, almost 30%, over a period that is a little bit less than three months. And then the click-through rate of the ads also improved quite dramatically with almost a 60% lift. And this is mostly because of our work on keywords and bidding optimization. And finally, let's take a look at the increase in conversions. That really matters. It's actually increased by 8% in comparison to what the previous agency did. And I think this is to prove that Merkle delivers when it comes to China. And not just China, of course. So now George will explain a little bit more about Merkle in general, and particularly about our presence in China. So back to you, George.
I think the first thing, just to jump into the Tektronix Danaher presentation, is that Baidu, as a comprehensive total platform across China, is useful for both B2C as well as obviously what Tektronix is, a B2B operation. And the Baidu platform is comprehensive enough to be able to work across that platform. So in terms of how we can help, having the right partner makes the difference. We, Merkle, have been in China for more than 7 years, and we now have more than 400 digital marketing and qualitative marketing, data marketing professionals. We have 2 offices, one in Shanghai, one in Nanjing, and we have a very, very stable client base. Further to that, we partnered with Kenshu in how we're approaching the China Baidu opportunity, because Kenshu have been investing extensively in integrating the API of Baidu and other platforms, and so we're able to have both world-class approach through Merkle, as well as a partner who's helping us with the bidding and the maximizing of the opportunity. So how can we help you in China? Firstly, you can leverage Merkle's excellence in performance marketing. We're committing to, indeed, we're delivering for our clients already in China the same data-driven, technology-enabled service and approach you've come to expect in the US. We're focused on building out profitable programs and expanding those programs and ensuring that they're accountable, and in bringing the very best of all digital platforms for our clients in China, the largest being Baidu, and so our primary focus. What we'll also do is we will take all of the hassle of setting up your program in China away by managing the paperwork, by managing the process, and through our partnership, being the first US-headquartered reseller of Baidu, through our partnership with Baidu, simplifying what you need to do as an advertiser into China. We'll also develop the programs fully for you. So just as you would engage a performance marketing agency in the US, we will do all of that for you, adding local market nuance in China by dual language Chinese people. Tommaso, my partner in China, is the leader of that group. He has a large team, dual language speakers. They will do all the translations. They'll do the research on the Chinese marketplace and your competitors. They'll maintain an ongoing focus on building out keyword coverage and ensure flawless execution of your entire program. Some of our clients are wanting to have US-based account management, and in that case we work with the client here in the US, but we have the Chinese team execute. Others of our clients have marketing teams in China as well as in the US, and we will integrate between the two organizations and provide a full global coverage. And then some clients are just wanting to work with us, their China team in China with us, but do some reporting back to global. And we customize and create a client-focused approach as is at the request of the client. What we think is probably most interesting here is the opportunity presented to us by Baidu, as well as our partnership with Kenshu, allows us to be completely transparent in the approach to China. Basically, what Merkle will do is not charge you any additional commission or service fee on top of Baidu's real-time bid. As I mentioned earlier, the Chinese digital media pay a commission to their agency partners. Many of those agency partners have chosen, either because they're operating and buying from another agency their media, they'll charge you a service fee or a management fee or a commission on top of the real-time bid. Because of our relationship with Baidu, we're completely covered by the commission that they're giving us, and we're also covering from that commission the Kenshu cost. So you don't need to pay anything incremental to Kenshu. You don't pay anything incremental to Merkle. We operate within the framework of the funding that Baidu give us. So you're getting Merkle excellence, in effect, plus the Kenshu platform at nothing on top of the actual real-time bid. And many of our clients have found that to be incredibly competitive. So we've come in at the time we said we were going to do. We wanted the presentation to last for about 45 minutes so that we could start getting to the many questions that have come through, we'll go through those. So whether you're looking for more information on China, if you're considering entering the Chinese market, want to launch on Baidu, or to improve an existing program that you have, or even if you want us to give you a perspective of your programs, please get in touch with us. My email is there. Paul Wilson, my Chief Commercial Officer's email is there, and we'll leave this up as we start answering the questions. You can also visit merkleinc.com/Baidu for more information and resources. And as I mentioned, this presentation will be available through the same links within a day of the finish of this. But really, we'd love to hear from you if you're interested in Baidu. At that point, we're going to start answering the questions. We'll read the question that has been put forward, and we'll then go through the answers. And Tommaso, Lily, Frederick, even though we may have answered the question within the screen, we're to kick off with the high priority ones. So, Tommaso, you might like to take one.
Yeah, I found a really interesting question about how to integrate one of the most important social channels in China, which is WeChat, together with Baidu now. Those are two competing companies. But when it comes to the internet space, yes, I think it's absolutely relevant to find synergies and integration across devices. And of course, there are so many ways of creating strategies around this sort of integration, starting with search and then generating interest through search, and at the same time, perhaps a branded search, and at the same time engage the customer, as I said during one of the slides before, engage the customer with some display elements that allow a direct integration of WeChat and the search on Baidu, for instance. A user on Baidu could be searching for a specific brand, encounter that, feel captivated, scan the QR code, because most of the searches are still conducted on desktop, especially the so-called Chinese white collars, right? 9 to 5, staying in the office using desktop, they love to use Baidu. And I can tell you from personal experience. I've been in China for 7 years, and this is something that happens. So they do the search, and then they engage the brand through mobile via QR code scanning and display elements embedded into the Baidu search. I think that's a pretty good strategy to adopt.
Hey, I'm going to answer Danny's question, which was, do all agencies receive a commission from Baidu? They're curious as to whether a partner is doubling up. How the digital media ecosystem works in China is that it's typically a channel, and so a commission is paid to the key agency, and that key agency may then resell the service down to a network, and that may resell down to an agency, and then they're sharing commission through this channel, and eventually the client is charged. Typically, and the intention of the digital media platforms is that commission covers the cost of service of an agency. As I said, some agencies choose to charge a commission or service fee on top, or a management fee on top. So maybe the agency is doubling up. We have done, we've worked in China for 7 years. We know our costs very well and how to professionally run a program, and we choose not to charge a commission or service fee on top, and we choose not to charge a management fee either. So, Danny, possibly they are, but if you email me, I can probably give you more information. Tommaso, do you want to take another one?
Yes, there's a question from Lisa Lee about how to form paid strategies targeting known brand and generic keywords on Baidu. Well, basically, that's what we do. Our team of experts will work on keywords build-outs, keyword research. we work very close with the client. We work together with the marketing department so that we have alignment across the board. And then, of course, everything is based on data. So we start optimizing relentlessly, most of the time based on return on advertising spend. That is it really depends on the client, of course, but that's usually the modus operandi. For Merkle, we do believe in the primacy of data. We do believe in the primacy of ongoing, constant optimization. And that's what we do for Baidu. That's what we do for PPC in general, all across Merkle, all across the different engines and regions. I hope that answers the question.
I'll jump into the question from Sarah. Sarah's asked, could we introduce Kensho in greater detail, please? And that would be a pleasure. Typically, for an advanced performance marketing program to be managed well, efficiently, and to optimize that program, an agency will use a bid and reporting tool or a bid and reporting platform. In the US, Merkle has their own platform that we've developed over 10 years out of the e-retail sector. We took a decision, given the complexity of the Chinese market and given the investments that Kensho have made in being excellent in China, to use the Kensho platform. And what the Kensho platform allows us to do is to put our very smart analysts and very smart management people with one of the most powerful tools there is to work against the Chinese opportunities. So Kensho takes the API, they handle double byte characters, they give us a very powerful opportunity to optimize bids as we would in the US, and it also has a reporting platform that we use. And once again, I'm very happy to take that offline if you would like more information. I hope that covers what you wanted. Anybody else want to take one, or will I grab the next?
Go ahead, George.
Okay, and then you've got to take the next because I'm not able to read fast enough in advance. Chris,
all right.
Chris asked if there's any minimum monthly cost to participate in the program. Look, there's no minimum monthly budget required to work in the program. What we do want to do, well, what we do want to have is the program size to be enough that it's viable for us to put the startup costs against the program. For some clients' programs that just want to dip their toe in the water and are talking small budgets, we are charging a setup fee. If the program is of a larger size, then that program fee is waived. Typically, that program fee is waived if the client's ongoing media spend is expected to be, more than $5,000 a month. But typically, what we're finding is the clients that we're working with are spending in excess of $10,000 a month, and that's giving them, to answer one of the other questions, a good degree of coverage. Chris, I hope that covers what you're looking for, but once again, very happy to handle offline if you'd like. Tommaso?
All right, yeah, I just see a question from Brian Basement. It's all about costs being associated with the real-time auction numbers. Are CPCs a lot higher? Well, I don't think that's a right question. Don't take it personally, but I don't think that CPC costs have anything to do with Baidu giving money to agencies, really. Of course, we do try our best through the optimization efforts to get the lowest CPC and the best result for the client. That's all I can say. And to your point about real-time auctions and real-time bidding, as George pointed out, we do have some pretty good brains at work, working with some pretty solid and well-established technology that allows us to have very good and efficient bidding optimization in real time. So we do combine these two elements to provide the best costs to our client when it comes to CPC. I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it was kind of tricky.
I can add a little to the question. The dynamics of a real-time bid mean that the bid is being executed across the whole of the marketplace. The marketplace is neither inflated or deflated by the involvement of an agency. The marketplace is determined by the bidder, determined by the marketplace and the demand for the terms. So one thing that we have found for our clients is that they are, for a client that we have good experience for in the US, they are finding the Baidu opportunity to be, let's put it this way, extremely attractive in terms of both the CPCs, in terms of the conversions, and in terms of the volumes. Jumping into Sarah's question, apart from Baidu, does Merkle have plan to work with Weibo or the other social media sites? Yes, Sarah, the great news is that Merkle works with all of the platforms, so we can execute on whatever platform is required. Typically, our approach is, when we're working with a client, to start with the leader, as you would in performance marketing in the US. You would start with Google, but you would naturally be testing other opportunities for that client. So you'd be looking at Bing, you'd be looking at Yahoo, and you'd also be testing the social platforms such as Facebook. We take that same approach in China. The largest player and the most effective player and the one with the best structure is Baidu. But even though I have my Baidu partner on the phone with me, they would naturally expect us to be testing, and we do test against other platforms. So I hope that answers your question. Very happy to take that offline as well. Next one. So real-time auction, a question from Lily. The question is, what do you mean by real-time auction? Is it like eBay? What if we want to go to the auction? What we mean by a real-time auction or a real-time bid is that as a term is searched, there is an auction approach that an advertiser can buy that term. And they will get that term if they are the most appropriate advertiser at the best price. Which means that if the term is a very, very popular term and is not trademark protected, as Tommaso went through, then, it being very popular, it will be more expensive. If the term is not popular in terms of advertisers wanting to buy it, then the cost is likely to be lower. It's a real-time bid. Lily, you can go to the auction by participating in the search. You can't get into Baidu or the other platforms' headquarters within China to see that auction unless Lily Wang can find a way for you to do that. But typically they don't allow you into the facilities. Tommaso, do you want to grab one?
Yeah, actually, I was about to involve Lily, our Baidu partner here, to answer one more technical question that could be very interesting to hear more about.
Yeah, I think
Which
Paul
question?
just asked, about geo-targeting one. Basically, I think Paul Benson just asked, does the PPC side of Baidu have geo-targeting capabilities? Definitely yes. And I think what he means is, could we target Chinese residents who are currently in the States, or are we only able to target Chinese residents in China? And that would be especially applicable to the travel market. So I think right now, you should be able to target the Chinese residents in China by different provinces and different major cities. As far as I know, I don't think we have a capability right now in the system to be able to target Chinese residents outside China. What I actually suggest to do is through the keywords, but definitely if the Chinese residents or Chinese people who live in United States or in UK or in Europe, searching Baidu for like air flight tickets, they will be able to see the ad. So my suggestion is through the keywords differentiation by thinking of their locations through the keywords, and then you should be able to do that.
If I could jump into another question from Lily about asking if the only way for them to sell is through the auction. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear with my explanation of the auction. The auction relates to the cost of putting the ad on Baidu. You can use Baidu in any way that you would like to. You don't need to auction a product on Baidu. You can use it, as Tommaso had explained, in the brand zone for branding or to present a video. You can use it, as Lily explained, for typical search engine marketing. Every platform is different, and every platform has their own parts of excellence. But if you consider that Baidu is something like Google, and the many ways that you can use Google, then that would be a good description. But every platform has their own excellence. If you consider how you use, Facebook or a social network, Baidu also has those opportunities. Dashan asked, apart from Tektronix, how many other US companies have benefited via Baidu? Great question, Dashan. It is a global marketplace, and large advertisers are benefiting from Baidu no matter where they're from. Baidu is the fourth largest digital platform in the world, and if you go to Baidu, which you can do from anywhere in the world, and start searching for big brand names such as BMW in the automotive, or Lexus, or any major automotive marque outside a Chinese manufacturer, you'll see they advertise. You'll see huge amount of advertising from the travel and tourism industry. All of the major players are benefiting. Major players outside of China, because the Chinese consumer is now the largest new tourist market in the world for outside of China travel. Every major category, there are global and US-based advertisers there. Anybody want to take another one? And we will make all of the answers available, even if we don't get to them now. Stephen had a question, or has a question, on the ratio of global to Chinese-based companies. The majority of Merkle's clients are global clients operating in China, though we do have 400 staff in China, and we are servicing some local Chinese companies, but currently we are focused on the needs of international advertisers.
Yeah, cool, George. to the point made by one of the guys in the audience before about geo-targeting and building on Lily's contribution to that, there's a tactic that I used before that is absolutely usable right now for targeting overseas Chinese, which is very simple in practice, which is just geofencing negatively the whole of the greater China region. So that in that way, you know that your ads are just going to be shown by people outside of China using Baidu. And most of these people are much probably Chinese, especially if they type some Chinese queries, right? Unfortunately, the adoption of the Mandarin language is not that high outside of China and the Chinese diaspora. It will change in the future, I'm sure.
So
and that is for Tao.
At that point, we will make sure that we have answered all of the questions and we'll put them up on the site. As I mentioned to you, this presentation will be available within the day at the original link as well as on the Merkle site. We would be very happy to speak with anybody, and you can see both my email address as well as Paul Wilson's email address on this page of the presentation. We believe that we have an incredibly powerful offering for our clients and prospects, that we're basically giving you the focus of both Merkle as well as the excellence of Kenshu at the cost of the media for Baidu. It's a very comprehensive and compelling offer. I'd like to thank Frederick Conson, our valued client from Tektronix, Danaher. Thank you, Frederick. Lily from Baidu, our partner, we really appreciate your help with this. And Tommaso, my partner in China, thank you very much. And we're available following this by email or our Twitter handles at the bottom if you've got any more questions. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to talking with you in the future.